Shakur Stevenson gets played by his brand new promoter. And we gonna talk about it. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego. And I'm back with some more boxing. Now, what glitters is not always gold. Shakur Stevenson just signed with Dana White and TKO and Zuffa Boxing. Supposed to be worth a good amount of money. And yesterday, at the horrific Conor McGregor fight, I don't know what you're thinking, right? Laughs all around like the Joker, right? The Conor McGregor fight that lasted like 20 seconds. Conor McGregor comes out with this weird Mortal Kombat kick, breaks his leg or knee explodes or whatever, and the fight is over. Max Holloway didn't even want to hit on him. So for Conor McGregor's return after 5 years, people just expected so much more. He said he was going to punish Max Holloway. He had already beaten him in the past, and he was like, this is going to be the greatest comeback in boxing history. And it was probably the most anticlimactic comeback in like fight history or whatever. But anyway, per his new deal, guess who was cage side? Shakur Stevenson. And they had a bit of a blip, a blooper, a mishap in showing his name. Boom. Y'all see that? It says Jalen Williams. Jalen Williams. Jalen Williams, right? So when they showed Tucker Carlson, they're like, oh, I know that's Tucker Carlson. Wow. And then Joe Rogan's like, that's Shakur Stevenson, isn't it? Now, what makes that weird is Joe Rogan has had Shakur Stevenson and Terence Crawford on his podcast. So why would you even have an iota of confusion when the man's been a guest on your show, right? And then I know what some people are thinking. They're like, yo, but Ego, who is Jalen Williams? So glad you asked. This is Jalen Williams, who plays for the OKC Thunder. So an NBA basketball player. This is who they labeled with the lower third. Shakur Stevenson was shown on camera, but this man was the man that was shown. And as you guys can see, nothing about this really looks like Shakur Stevenson at all. Like, I mean, come on, bro. Like, like, what are we doing here? Not the same complexion, definitely not the same height. How did you get this confused? How did your crew come out and be like, oh, that's Shakur? Like, look at him, bro. And to me, I thought this was a terrible look for Shakur Stevenson, because you just signed to these people, right? Zuffa, Turkey, Dana, and the very first time, I've never really, that I can recall, seen Shakur at a UFC event, right? And the very first one that at least I can remember you go to, they don't even get your name right, right? They're calling you just another random black person. I think that's definitely in poor taste. Now, here's the thing. I don't really want to bring up race unless I really truly believe that it could be a race relations type of issue. Now, Some people would be like, oh, no, come on, ego. It was an honest mistake. But here's the thing. It would be maybe one thing if they just did it to Shakur and got him confused with a random OKC player. Fine. But it's not. Boom. When Terence Crawford was in the crowd, right? You see right there. The lower third said that it was Kendrick Lamar smoking on top 5, smoking on that guy, right? Sit down, be humble. So this is now becoming a history of this, right? Where you have Terence Crawford, who's, definitely a top boxer, and then you're saying that is Kendrick Lamar, a random black rapper, right? No relation. I mean, the only relation is that Terence Crawford was mentioned in one song by Kendrick Lamar at a point, all right? Then you get Shakur Stevenson. He just does this deal with Dana White, right? And the thing is, he literally was with Dana White all weekend signing paperwork and doing the promotional rollout. So how do you even get this stuff confused? None of these people look alike at all. They're all completely different black people. Now, here's the thing. For those that are like, oh, man, no, it's just a mistake. Why does it keep happening, and it's happening with black celebrities, right? Red Hot Chili Peppers, when Anthony Kiedis is there, I don't ever want to feel like I did that day. Or take me to the place I love, right? Kiedis, that's not the easiest name, right? He's not current generation. He's from pretty much the 90s, right? Late 80s, 90s. They don't have no problem getting his right when he's in the crowd, right? Or just look at the UFC fighters, right? Merab Davishvili or whatever. They spell his name right, and Habib Nurmagomedov. So when you look at Americans, because it's probably American with an American company, what is harder to type up? Like what name? Shakur Stevenson or Merab and Peter Yan and Nurmagomedov? These phonetically, the patterns of lettering that are used in names overseas are completely different. Like when you go to Russia, Siberia and these different places like Dagestan, the names are spelled completely different and stuff. So you can spell more complex names, at least for us Americans, but you can't put Terence Crawford. Like how hard is that to get right? So yeah, it does look a bit racial to me because it keeps happening. And the only time I've ever seen it happen, they don't go and disrespect any white celebrities or anybody else that I've seen. It keeps repeatedly happening, and it's to black fighters. So even if there was no harm intended, as a business, as a company, right, you got $1 billion budget for X amount of years, right? You would want to clean it up because at the very least, perception is reality, right? And the perception is, I can't recall when, anybody else is there, like Michael J. Fox is there, they're not calling him Jason Bateman, right? They're getting it right. But when you have boxers and black boxers at that, who are celebrities and top of class in the boxing world, right? Which is kind of like an adjacent type of sport. We're not talking about a golfer or something like that, right? We're talking about two sports that are at least within the combat sport. Plus, your company is trying to get involved in the boxing space. So again, perception is reality. What does it look like when you're paying Shakur all this money and he's been with Dana White? They're trying to roll him out, and then they're out here calling him Jalen Williams and calling Crawford Kendrick Lamar. Like, no matter how you slice it, to me, it's a terrible look. The man looks nothing like Jalen Williams, right? And again, benefit of the doubt can't be given when this has already happened with Crawford before. So they really got to get it together. Boxing is like a secret society, let me tell you. So boxing fans are going to see this and be like, yo, what's good with that? Right? And this is why a couple things I want to say here. One, this is why it's important to have diversity within your staff. So that could be a major problem with the UFC when you don't have enough people of color in the industry, probably working in the van or whatever, doing these graphics. Yeah, people, and it's funny because a lot of UFC fans be like, oh, DEI hires and all this stuff, but then people can't even, they're getting paid all this money, can't even excel at their job by getting the celebrity name right. You better off just showing them on camera with no lower third, because then at least it's not a disrespect, right? At least it's not like, I'd rather you don't announce me than announce me as somebody else, right? Because the damage is already done. People screenshotted it. Later, they showed him again and corrected it. But again, the damage is already done. Like, if you in bed with your old lady, you in the bed with your girl, and then her name is Nikki, and you're like, oh, Samantha, oh, Samantha, keep going. I guarantee you, if you don't believe me, call your girl when you getting intimate, call her the wrong name and see if that ain't a mood killer. I'll wait. So let me know in the comment section after you do it. Whatever your girl named Nikki, call her Samantha in the middle of bumping uglies and see if that's a problem or not with her. I guarantee you it dry up, stop the whole charade. Stop playing with me, bro. So don't just be, oh man, ego, it's just a name, it's a name. Okay, it's just a name, huh? Yeah, it's just a name. We'll call your girl by the wrong name when you guys are doing the deed, right? So it looks dumb. It looks unprofessional. And it keeps happening. And again, it's only happening to one specific group, which happens to be black boxers or black celebrities at the very least, right? But you can spell all these other Russian names and Georgian fighters and stuff like that. Terrible look. Terrible look. You want to promote Shakur Stevenson, but your crew won't even get his name right. And here's the other thing. Another reason it's a bad look for Shakur, these are the people you sign with, right? Gervonta Davis, he's been at Baltimore Ravens games and Lakers games and other sporting events. They ain't never got his name wrong. So it just goes to show you that Shakur really ain't that dude in terms of, yeah, he's a good boxer, but he's definitely on the unknown side because this don't happen to Canelo. It hasn't happened, to my knowledge, at a sporting game to a Gervonta Davis because these are bigger stars, bigger names, like even Ryan Garcia. Like, Ryan Garcia has built a brand. I don't care if you like him or hate him. He built his brand up to the point where, okay, you're going to recognize that's Ryan Garcia. But Shakur, although he's a very good fighter, he was just on Nightcap, and they don't even know who this man is, right? So, again, that probably shows the lack of diversity working with the UFC, right? Because if you had probably more black people working, I'm pretty sure they would have been like, oh, no, that's Terence Crawford. Oh, no, that's Shakur Stevenson. So it very well could be a diversity issue as well. You got people that aren't even tapped in. They're not tapped into the culture. So if a battle rapper or a boxer or somebody who might come from somewhat of an urban market, they're going to be like, oh, Eddie Murphy. Like, they don't know. They just guessing it, apparently. Future, you know what I mean? Whoever it looked closest to. So I don't know what their protocol is or how they're going about like a naming convention or whatever to name these people. But either way you slice it, it looks terrible. And again, you could let it slide maybe on a mistake if this was the first time it happened to a black athlete and celebrity. Dana White did talk about it post-fight. Bro, nobody care about that White House. And again, you didn't do that to Donald Trump, right? You didn't misspell him and call him Ronald Reagan, Obama. Get it together. It was the greatest thing. No, it wasn't. And all your favorites got beat up and stopped. You had Poirier got stopped by underdog, and Alex Pereira got stopped by an underdog. But I mean, on one hand, I gotta give a bit of credit for at least owning the mistake from Dana White. But at the same time, I can't give him full credit because you're still doing something that I don't prefer, and that's you're taking accountability, but then you're saying we're the absolute worst with the celebrity thing. But you're not really calling it what it is. You guys are the worst with black celebrities, right? Until you can show me a bunch of white celebrities, no matter who they are, there's literally people from like TV shows and all types of stuff, and it's never any issue. Like they got the dude from Yellowstone, Cole Hauser, Wing Hauser's son, right? He didn't. He's a good actor. He was even in Higher Learning, but the thing is, he's kind of like an obscure actor. He's not, unless you're tapped in with that show, you might not know his name. Like you might have been like, I've seen him in movies before, but he's not like Vin Diesel, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, where you just Brad Pitt, you just instantly know the dude's name. But y'all not getting that wrong. And he on Paramount too, right? But then you're bringing Shakur to Paramount and you're getting it wrong. So it's not just a celebrity thing. Call it what it is. Black celebrities, y'all don't know who they are, and you're confusing. And soccer's worse. Just the fact that they want to argue, I'll fire everybody, bro. What you mean soccer's worse when you keep embarrassing us and the product? You signed Shakur Stevenson, right? It would be one thing if he was with PBC or something like that. You don't have no ties or obligations to him. So cool, whatever. It happens, I guess, right? If he was with Top Rank, if he's with Golden Boy, then you're not really obliged or obligated, not obligatory that you, I guess, get his name right, even though it's disrespectful, right? But when you're trying to push a product and you don't even know the name of your product, yeah, that becomes a bigger problem. So that was Dana White's response. You guys definitely are the worst. And the yelling bit, I mean, that's cool, but you really need to fix the problem, especially if people are supposed to have trust in your brand and your company, and y'all can't even get something as simple as lower thirds correctly. And I'm going to be real. I've been producing videos over 15 years, right? I've never got it wrong, right? Even the spelling, right? I've never put a lower third and put Deontay Wilder and then called him, Zion or whoever, Giannis. and then got it completely wrong. Even the spelling. Because if I'm unsure how to spell someone's name, I'll take the couple seconds to look it up or copy and paste it. So I'm very efficient. You guys could look through my catalog, right? And I'm one person, not a whole production team. And I don't even make mistakes like that. So how are you this big company with a $1 billion contract with Paramount and your product, Shakur Stevenson, and you out here like, hey, Jalen Williams, everybody, Jalen Williams, right? And then like, it don't give me, I'm being real, it don't really give me faith that this is amazing decoration because first impressions last. So the hookup between Shakur and Dana White, the first impression is they didn't even know who you were. Right? So what do they really offer you? Okay, they're giving you a bag, but is there really TLC being done? And they're really trying to mature and give you the best fights. You got Richardson Hitchens and Edgar Berlanga finna fight. I haven't even heard nothing about the fight. How are ticket sales doing? So to me, in the boxing space, Zuffa has a lot to prove. They have a lot to prove. And you got fighters who are selling out, in my opinion, flying over there because they're not big stars and they're being lured over with big contracts. So I guess get it while the getting's good. But long term, what is this doing for your brand? So far, they've been doing boxing shows on Sunday, right? So why is boxing getting put on Sunday instead of primetime Saturday like it's mostly been in the last 25 years, right? But then for a white athlete like Conor McGregor, I don't know what you're tanking, right? They give him main event, primetime, Saturday night, after 5 years, give him crazy money, I'm assuming, and he go out there and get blasted out and break his kneecap or whatever in 20 seconds. Right? Shakur ain't never put up a performance like that. Like he just got destroyed in 20 seconds and injured himself. You know what I mean? So it just goes to show you we got a long ways to get where we need to get, if you know what I mean. All right? You put all this energy into Conor McGregor and Alex Pereira. Pereira got bombed out. Like he that was an abysmal performance that he had. Right? Against the guy he was favored to beat, right? Cyril Gane, who had already lost to John Jones, and then Pereira couldn't do nothing with him. Gained all this weight for nothing. So, yeah, I'm not impressed with UFC since it's been on Paramount. There's been a couple fights, like all of Gaethje's fights have been fun. I give him credit. Justin Gaethje and Paddy the Baddy fights were really good. And then the Topuria fight was really good, right? But the Topuria fight wasn't even the main event. So in terms of main event, it's kind of Paddy and Gaethje. That's the memorable fight. But they're like, no pay-per-view. These other fights you couldn't really put on pay-per-view. I mean, imagine if you spent $85 on Conor McGregor Holloway 2 and it ended like that in 12 seconds or whatever it was in the first round. And you seen no real action. Max Holloway like, ref, get him. Ref, he got a family. His kids are right there. Ref, end it. And the ref was like, no, keep fighting. And then Conor can't even stand up. Oh, me knee. Hurt me leg on my knee. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just horrible. I already made a video about that. Check that on the channel. But the Shakur Stevenson mistake was pretty terrible. Let me know what you think. Hype this video up. Let me know if Zuffa boxing is a good fit for Shakur Stevenson. But y'all got to get it together, especially with your black fighters, right? Especially when all the people you've done this to have been tied to Turkey. Terence Crawford, now Shakur Stevenson. So they're with the home team, and y'all can't even like show them the proper respect. Embarrassing. Very embarrassing.